Good evening and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I am Aaron, your Doom Master tonight, and we are returning to Modiphius's 2D20 Conan, an Age Undreamed of, our Hyborian Tales. So I'm going to give us a quick recap of what happened in our last session, and then we're going to jump right into the action. So we found ourselves in the perpetually dark, sunken city of Sarkomund, in a great sea with predators above and below, with terrifying villagers who we could not determine if they were really on our side or not. Our group of adventurers was assisted by another group of stranded castaways who, however, over the 40 sleep cycles that they continued to search for an entrance to the city of Sarkomon, one by one fell to the horrors of this cavern until there was only one left. And then on that fateful day, as he took the boat out over Sarkomon, he himself saw the great chimney, or what he actually believed to be a tower that had been shorn in half, that matched the description that would lead into the air-filled chambers of sunken Sarkomon. But it was at that point that his head was bisected by a coral spear from a dweller in the deep as they began to pour over the sides of the ship. The villagers who had rowed you out and manned the ship simply sat docilely, curling in amongst themselves, servitors to these creatures. Our forces valiantly fought against the dwellers in the deep, as they quickly began to peel off one after the other, diving into the tower and down into Sarkomon, leaving Zamir and Sir Drusus Jolden on the ship, Zamir injured and grappled. But eventually, the two of them were able to break free, and they jumped into Sarkomon. They began to slowly make their way through the sunken city, dealing with trials and terrors as they went through, until they finally found themselves in a large grotto-like chamber. A moment of peace after vicious combat and total terror. They saw a hammock strung up in here. They saw goods and food and weapons, and they saw a man dressed oddly in strange leathered shoes, pants of some unknown fabric, a waistcoat of matching fabric over his shirt, a golden chain from the pocket of this waistcoat. And he looked up at them. And when he looks at you, what does he see, Zamir?
So Zamir is very worse for wear. He sees his normal, lithe self. His complexion has paled significantly. He is covered with grime and sweat. His hair does not have the bounce and flourish that it normally does. He looks like a man very exhausted, covered in blood as well. Fortunately, the wounds seem to have healed. But he very disheveled. His eyes probably a little bit resistant to the fire as well, so he might be squinting a bit. But he looks and he sees a very exhausted, very tired man, both physically and mentally.
And this man, he comes towards you and he puts one hand on your shoulder and he says, "You look exhausted, my friend." Now, he's speaking in a language that when you hear it with your ears, you don't understand it. But through some trick, you know exactly what he's saying. Come, sit. You're clearly in need of a rest. You've got a moment of respite here. This area is well warded. Nothing will enter my grotto. And you miss, and he points to Aurelia. What does he see when he points to Aurelia?
Aurelia usually stands pretty tall and proud. But instead she's more hunched, kind of ready for movement in the sense like her knees are bent. She's still got like a hand back, like ready to quickly draw her bow if needed. And she looks like a drowned rat. Her hair is all lanky, both with grease and with the fact that we almost drowned in that hallway. And she's very twitchy. She's always looking and constantly rotating between everyone, but with more focus on him as he's a stranger within our midst.
Milady, I would guess that you were a great Amazonian. However, perhaps not here in these lands. I'm not exactly sure where I've found myself these days, but you have no need to fear. My home is your home, and my hospitality will protect you as long as you're staying within this cavern. You may take your rest or stand vigilant. Let me greet your other companions. And he looks over at Sobek. Sobek, what does he see when he sees you?
I am pretty sure that Sobek is still in his crocodile form.
Ah, that's right.
So he would see a reptilian that is obviously like paying attention. There might be a little bit more obvious intelligence behind the eyes. I like to imagine he still has the eye wraps on as a crocodile. But yeah, I don't think I've changed back to human form yet. I would just let out a low rumble of a growl.
So he turns to look at Roya, and he goes, Roya, he goes, Miss, is this your animal companion? I've never seen a tamed crocodile.
Companion, yes. Tamed by no means. He will just show a different form when he so chooses, probably at a less than opportune time. But he is his own.
A shaman or sorcerer of some sort?
One of each. I am the shaman. He is a sorcerer, and she has like her long staff that she's sort of like wrapping her robes around to try to like squeeze the water out of them as she's having this conversation with him.
Well, then a great healer, and their presence is greatly appreciated within the grotto. I find myself hale and fit of form, but your friends may need help. And I see a great knight amongst you as well. How may I address you, sir?
So Drusus, but he's not looking too great. My hair is stringy. There's seaweed in it, trying to pull that out. Just emptying my waterlogged boots.
Well, I know it is too early to call you friends, but please make yourselves comfortable. I am Ricard Pickman, and I have been trapped here in the depths of Sarkomon for many a day and night, waiting for something to change that might allow me to win free of this place, and change it has with your presence. So please rest. Let me tell you a tale, because I think you too may be looking for a way out of Sarkomon. For I have explored and know that there is no way out on the surface, at least no way for a sane man of mortal powers to escape. I come from another kingdom. King Caranus of Celephus sent me on an errand from his kingdom, a friend of mine. You see, let me take a step back. The tale begins with this, and he pulls out this shining silver key, and it almost glows with light. And Sobek, you can feel power coming off of this. I mean, incredible power. He goes, this is the silver key of the Dreaming Gates. And you see it was hidden, well hidden, in Ulthar for ages untold, since the last war of the Great Old Ones. However, a couple of wandering mercenaries, Elgin the Wanderer and David Hero, found it on one of their adventures, and they sold it in the port city of Delathlene. But agents of King Caranus saw that, and they came and told the scholar monk Atal that the silver key had been seen in the port. And King Karanis asked me, perhaps ordered is closer. I mean, I do owe him to investigate. So I journeyed to the port city and tracked the key, and it was sold, unfortunately, to a disciple of the yellow-veiled king. And so the chase was on across the Serenarian Sea to the plateau of Lang and into the monastery of Lang itself. Fortunately, the yellow-veiled king's attentions are almost always on the waking world, so it's very difficult to rouse him. I was able to sneak through the monastery quietly and take the silvered key from his disciple, but that began to wake the other creatures that are there, the spiders of Ling, and even the yellow-veiled king. A fraction of his consciousness became aware, and so I fled, and the only place I could flee to was the dreaming well within the monastery. And I used the silver key to open the gateway and plunge here into Sarkomand. I did not think, in all the tales, Sarkomand is a surface city. I felt that I would simply be able to leave and travel to one of the other gateways back to my kingdom. But apparently, the dreaming one, the dread Cthulhu, had sunk the city of Sarkomand to prevent the gate from being used by the yellow-veiled king's acolytes. And so we find ourselves trapped. Now that is my tale. All I wish is to return to Celephus, and I have the means to do so. But what brings you to sunken Sarkomand? I can already tell you are not disciples of the dread old one, Cthulhu. So what is your tale?
We were chasing the
Attempting
mountains.
to find our way out.
And we fell.
You're in the mountains and you fell into Sarkomand?
That's all we can remember.
You must be the 5 most unlucky travelers in the history of all your lands. I cannot imagine how you've angered the gods and found yourself so cursed to have such a fate befall you, but fear not. There is a way out for us all, if we are cunning and quick and dangerous and willing to risk everything. But that is a tale for after you have rest. Please take your time here in the grotto. We will need to be at our best before I tell you what needs to happen for us to escape this cursed city. So he gets out food and drink for everyone, and he brings out additional medical pouches, and he's showing you some herbs and some poultices that he brought with him that may help. So if there's any actions you guys want to do at this point to prepare to rest and relax. Now, once again, all of your vigor, all your resolve is maxed out. Your fortune points are back to total. Your momentum is 0, and doom is reset to 16. So, you've got a break here in the action to calm down, cool off, heal up if necessary, and prepare for what you want to do. So, are there any actions anybody wants to take?
Yeah.
Roya's going to sort of poke at the crocodile.
I was going to come over to you, so that works.
To turn around, and there you are already.
I go in front of Roya and I roll on my back so that she can see that I'm missing some scales on my stomach that I'm bleeding out of.
And Roya just sort of pokes to see if you're just going to continue to hang out in crocodile form and expect this healing to happen in crocodile form. And she's pokes.
I am paying the resolve to stay in crocodile form. I don't want to drop it yet.
And she sighs a bit because I don't know that she's done healing on a crocodile before. So she's just sort of like muttering to herself, like, it's hard enough trying to keep everyone healthy. And now I have to do this on a scales.
So I would say that would be, instead of a difficulty 1 healing check, I think that would make it a difficulty 3 healing check, because you're right. You don't really have any experience with veterinary care, and particularly with reptiles.
Could I assist? I've healed.
I believe in you.
Yeah, you can absolutely assist.
Aurelia will kind of come up to you. I've had sheep. And she's gonna help pin him down. So just in case you like hurt him. So she's got him in like an arm bar as a crocodile. So he can't snap at you. Don't worry about it. And
So in my mind,
As
what I'm
he's-
seeing is Aurelia has rolled underneath Zamir, the crocodile, and she's looped her legs under his forearms, and her arm and mouth are holding his muzzle shut. And that makes me very happy. I'm going to drop it down to difficulty 2, and you still get the bonus dice from Aurelia because I love wrestling crocodiles.
Completely
I'm gonna give you-
docile crocodile, still put in the armbar.
pointless.
I'm going to give you Doom just to
Okay.
try to be a bit more successful with
So
this.
you get a bonus
and see if
die
I
from
can get some
Aurelia.
momentum.
And, I like it.
And of course, I roll a nat 20 and there's complication. So 5 successes,
5 successes.
3 momentum,
3
and a
momentum.
complication. So all the things that could have happened in that
Okay.
roll happened in that roll.
So, so do you want to spend any momentum for additional healing, or does Sobek need additional healing, or you just want to bank it?
Crocodile.
I only have 1 wound.
Okay, so
Okay.
you just need, so you get 3 momentum. And I think the complication is going to be that in the process of the healing, Sobek, it was so painful that it broke your concentration and you revert to human.
So
it
you hear
feels like
the
not a
bones
complication on me.
cracking, and I start shrinking, and I'm still being held in an armbar by Aurelia, but now I'm human, and I'm probably moving more than I was before as a crocodile,
Got you in a
struggling
good
to get
throat
out.
there.
Yeah.
Let
Ah.
go of me.
But your wound has been treated. However, if you take another wound, it will automatically reopen and you'll be back to 2 wounds.
And Aurelia will let you see. I knew it. If I didn't, what if he thrashed and you could have cut him worse? It would have been bad.
I think that was my fault. There was sort of a scale that was not quite in the way, and I sort of like tried to pick it up and get it out of the way, and I sort of yanked it off, and that didn't help so much. Sorry to.
I will only say it one more time. Let go of me.
Oh yeah. And she just kind of brushes herself off as she rolls away.
Straighten out my clothes, straighten out my eye bandages.
And this
You're welcome.
this fairly nondescript man with brown eyes and short brown hair and these weird clothes walks over to you, Sobek, and puts out his hand to help you up off the ground.
I'll take his hand.
We
Yeah.
haven't met yet. I'm Ricard Pickman. That's a very neat trick that you've got there. And again, his language, you guys have no idea. I mean, you understand it, but when you hear it, you know that there's no reason for you to understand it.
Did
Calling
we
it
know-
a trick does not do justice to the magic involved.
Of course, I apologize. Your great and powerful magics. How's that?
I just kind of let out a low hum and then don't respond after that. I don't like his tone.
Is there anything else anybody else needs to do other than get cleaned up and eat and rest?
Does anyone else need healing?
I do not.
Just fatigue for Zamir. He just needs to rest a bit.
So you rest for a couple of hours while Ricard makes some dinner. Fairly good dinner. I mean, it's fish, obviously, and sort of a stew with seaweed and things. Obviously, things he could find in Sarkomon. But it's fairly tasty and it's filling. And he actually has wine. He opens his pack that he's got on his side. It's a side satchel. And he pulls out this huge bottle of wine. And he pours it. And it's a very light white wine. It's got a very, very tart flavor to it. Some of the best wine you've ever had. And you feel no effects from it at all. And then he shoves it back down in his satchel and closes it up. And you also know that's where he put the silver key. And those two items together are bigger than the satchel itself. So are we feeling rested now and full and
What is going on with that?
with what, dear?
That bottle was larger than that. What is that?
Oh, shh, that's a trick of my own.
Mm,
It's a small trick from where I come from. Very tiny.
where is that again?
I currently reside in the kingdom of Celephus. Actually, I'm from a place called London, but I haven't been back there in a very long time.
Where is this London you speak of?
Oh, I think it's less aware and more a when, but possibly aware as well. A tall would be able to tell you. It's very difficult to understand.
This is all quite interesting, but I have to say, I am quite done with being where we have been. Would like to move on.
So would I. And I have got an interesting story to tell you now. So, to leave Sarkelmond, we have to return to the Well of Dreams. And I need time within the Well of Dreams to enact the ritual that will prime the silver key to open the gateway back to the Monastery of Ling. Now, the issue is, when I came through from the monastery, no one had traveled through the well in centuries, and therefore the master of Sarkelmond, himself a spawn of the great dreaming Cthulhu, although he was set here to guard the well, had sort of become, one could say, complacent. And as I slipped through the well, I caught him unaware, sleeping in his gluttony. And the dwellers in the deep that surrounded him were caught off guard as well. And I fled the room of the well, past the great bone piles and the guano and the filth, and I escaped into Sarkelmond. However, each time that I've attempted to sneak back to the chamber of the well, he has been on guard, as have his guards been ready. And so I've never been able to penetrate the room again. So herein lies our problem. I need a distraction, and I need to be snuck into the well so I can open the well. It will only take me a few moments. And then once the well is open, we will all need to dive into the well, or you will need to dive into the well with me, and then I will take us to the Monastery of Ling. However, that means for those few moments, you will need to hold off the master of Sarkelmond. He is a giant, multi-limbed, gluttonous creature of horrific proportion and appearance, and dangerous beyond all counting. I'm not even sure that it can be slain, but that in and of itself would be a feat of near demigods, as well as holding off his other guards. And like you, my friend sorcerer, he is a fairly puissant master of the mystical arts. So there's great risk, but it is the only way out of Sarkelmond. I must get to the well. I must activate the key to take us through. Now, mechanically speaking, basically 2 to 3 rounds. Probably 2 rounds of him in the well. Probably 3 rounds in total that you would have to hold out and then withdraw and get in the well. Now, when you get to the Monastery of Ling, you obviously will be under the scrutiny of the King of the Yellow Veil. If you get that far without a TPK, we'll talk about the mechanics when you get to the other side of the well. But back in character, he's like, so you can see where this is a daunting task. But if we win through and get out of the Monastery of Ling and get across the Plateau of Ling, there on the cliffs overlooking the Twilight Sea, I have left my ship covered in a glamour, and we should be able to easily sail across the sea into the valley of Uth-Nargai and to the city of Celephus. And there, King Karanis will reward you greatly for assisting in the recovery of the silver key of the Dreamers. So what do you say? Is this a risk you're willing to take, or would you prefer to spend the rest of your days in sunken Sarkelmond?
My retinue
no.
has never failed in their duties to me. I'm sure they will see this task done. Won't you?
was not aware you were their lord. I apologize.
I will counterpoint some of the details of that. Seeing as they've seen you come through one side, it seems as if you being the distraction would actually be a better plan. And we can have a discussion about what we can be doing while you are the distraction.
If I die, there is no one here who can activate the silver key, and you will be stuck here forever.
Could you not teach our Lord Sobek here? Just in case?
Sure. Or something.
Was that me or?
I heard that too. I think you're a robot.
Okay.
So what having issues? We should be back, but we've been having issues all week.
Yeah. So what was that last question? It broke up for me.
So is it that the silver key has to be used by you and you alone, or you will refuse to give us the key?
Oh, no, I would give you the key right now. And he
yours.
pulls it out of the satchel and he hands it over to you. The issue is that the key can only be activated by a dreamer. And none of you are.
I see.
We've been stuck here for 40 rest cycles, and you've offered us a way out. You will live.
Excellent. I knew that I could trust you with this task, not only because you are the only people that I've seen in years in this sunken hellhole, but I'm sure that together, if you've survived this long, you've got to be capable of doing it. I will tell you, as we approach the chamber, there are great mounds of rotting bones and carcasses. There's filth and guano stretched across the floor. There's sepid lakes of urine and waste and refuse, all trekking across to the center of the chamber, and the well is in the center. But stated before the well is the Master of Sarkomund guarding it. And between the Master of Sarkomund and the well are his guards, two powerful dwellers in the deep and their squads of lesser creatures.
What is this master? Is he more than a giant fish?
He, as I said, is a spawn of great Cthulhu, a multi-limbed terror. Fear itself embodied in scale and pus and rage. A powerful caster and a powerful combatant. But likely, if tales are true, he will hold himself back and use his magics while his guards engage the rest of us. However, if someone can sneak me past him while the others distract him and get me into the well, I should be able to quickly activate it. You will know it is activated when a great silver glow comes from the well, and at that point, regardless of what you are doing and regardless of the risk, you must dive into the well, for you only have a few heartbeats before the gate shuts again. I will hold it as long as I can, but these are magics beyond me.
Turn to Zamir. Well, Zamir, I trust you can get this man unnoticed.
Of course I can. I am surprised you would even think otherwise.
And
The question is,
I'll start a distraction. Who wants to join me?
can you hold off a giant fish creature or whatever this is?
What do you think?
Must ask, when you've tried this before, was it on your own or were there other groups that you sent off?
No, you are the only ones who've managed to pierce Sarkomon, at least from this side of the well. There's no way for the well to be opened without the silver key, so there's no one from my lands who could come here. No, you are the only ones that have been through here, and I have been here for, I would guess, 5 years.
That is quite a long time and explains why you have such a detailed plan created.
Well, I have tried many times, and I simply, by myself, cannot get past them. Their guard is too great. I was hoping that after a year or 2 or 3 or 5, he would return to a slumbering state, but I think he can feel the silver key within the city of Sarkomand, and I think that is why he stays vigilant.
I'm space away working with you. This cavern he dwells in.
It is a fairly large area. I would say a 60-foot diameter. The well itself is fairly small, 10 feet across. The depth is not an issue because it doesn't really have depth as you think about it. But once we enter the well, you'll understand. It is dark within there, with fluorescence from some of the lichen illuminating some of the areas, but visibility is poor. But don't let that fool you. The dwellers in the deep and the master of Sarkomand need no light to see by. So if you need greater illumination, take it with you. It will not give us away, for their sight alone will pierce the darkness. But be prepared. The sight of the master of Sarkomand is enough to crush the minds of lesser beings.
Okay.
Aurelia,
Sobek
is your
just turns his head
bow
towards
ready?
Aurelia at that last sentence.
Well, it's a good thing we have a blind man. You don't have to worry about that.
That's sweet.
Roya will sort of look over to Sobek. Is this the form you choose to enter with?
I believe it is the correct form for now, yes.
Can you turn into one of those Cthulhu monster things?
I would sooner not test with that sort of magic and monstrosity. There's a chance that the form can leave an imprint on myself. It would not be worth the risk yet.
All right. Well, when are we doing this exactly?
Oh, that is up to you. Like I said, I've been here for a very long time. A few more hours won't bother me. If there's some plan you wish to hash out or some way you wish to approach.
Well,
The entrance up into the cavern itself is at an angle. We will be moving up a ramp, not a steep ramp, but a ramp. They normally roll refuse down it when the cavern gets too filled with bones and bodies. And then it opens it opens basically into the large bowl of the cavern. And then there you will see directly in front of you, on a throne made of loose bones, will be the master of Sarkomand and his forces arrayed before him, facing the only entrance and exit that I've been able to find to his, what he calls a throne room, but what I call a cesspit. But behind him is the well.
Okay. So do we all attempt to sneak, or just you to the well and then fight from the well so we're nearby to jump in?
Well, we're the distraction, so we have to attempt to keep their focus on perhaps one side of the room while...
I mean, Zamir can
It's to the
attempt
well.
to sneak you all around if he wants, but it will be a very difficult task.
Okay.
And yeah, it'd be a very, very difficult task. So you can attempt it. It still may not work completely, but you can try.
If only Drusus had like the maggot cape. Could you imagine how distracting and terrifying that would be to have running at you? But, well, if we're gonna die, we're gonna die. So
Last 40 sleeps have been quite tedious, so let's...
The sooner I can see the sky, the better.
Yes, that would be appreciated.
Griffin asked a question in the chat, is there any cover? And yeah, so you'll be told that as you go up right into the entrance, you'll be wide open. But once you move a few feet in, there are piles of bones and everything that you could effectively use as cover for ranged attacks if you wanted, which would provide you some additional armor soak. Now, I will also tell you this. I mean, he's already warned you that facing this being is going to be a terrifying experience. So there are momentum spins, specifically confidence, where you spend 1 dice, character gains 1 extra die of morale soak per momentum spent until the start of the next turn. Now, you guys don't have a lot of momentum, but you could, obviously you could use Doom, or you can use the available momentum if you don't think your courage soak is particularly good. Because mechanically speaking, when he says this guy could break your mind, that's essentially what he's saying, is that there's a fear effect that may impact you.
You mean like a 0 courage soak?
Yeah, I think Sobek's the only one with courage soak.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to point that out. So I mean, you don't have to worry about it. As for a reminder for everybody, when you first see a creature that has the fear effect, you roll your discipline against the difficulty of the fear that the creature emits. If you fail, then you take whatever its threat attack is. Automatically, you take the damage for that plus the difficulty of the fear effect. So depending on what his threatening attack might be, it may not be that bad, but it may not be a lot of fun considering he's a spawn of Cthulhu. So. But
what are the chances we can just not look at him? And if
it's not really a visual thing. It's an aura. It's a supernatural aura of fear. When you're in his presence, it's soul crushing sort of thing.
That is fair.
Yeah, I don't think Raya has anything in particular that's going to help us prep. I don't think her haggler talent is really going to work on making a deal with
might throw some bargains with Cthulhu. I mean, or the spawn of Cthulhu. Why not?
Yeah. So I think we raise our weapons and hope that this is not our last day, and move forward.
And so Ricard turns to you and he goes, once the initial effects of its fear eats through you and you pass through that, you won't have to worry about it again. It almost broke my heart when I came through the first time, but I've seen it many times since then, and it no longer holds that terror for me. So just steel yourself as best you can, and then strike true. And as soon as you see the glow, run for your lives, because that is exactly what you will be doing. So which one of you is going to get me to the well?
And I think we all sort of looked at the mirror.
I would say Zamir, as you look over, is like stretched out, like legs up and propped up. He's like eating a piece of fish, and he just sort of looks over. Oh, yes, that would be me, of course. But I am feeling quite tired. What is the rush? You have been here for several years. We could perhaps take some time. I'm also curious, why did you ever try to gain the assistance of those a scientist is probably the wrong word, that were below in the city?
I haven't left Sarkomand. I've not found any other travelers within the sunken city, other than the dwellers in the deep and some of the other creatures.
So just so like I'm just trying to understand, like the folks that we just left, like Ignacio and Malachi and all that kind of stuff. Like he had no interaction with them.
No, yeah, because they were on the surface and searching on the surface for a way into the city, and he's never left the city.
Gotcha. All right. Zamir, I will have no trouble sneaking myself in. And should you listen to everything I say and do everything I say exactly as I say it when I say it, you too will not have trouble at all.
From your lips to my ears, my friend, and I say rest as long as you wish. There is no rush. When you are ready, that's when we'll go. I want everybody fresh and prepared for this. So you can take your time and rest, recover your fatigue.
Yeah, that's literally all Zamir would
Yep.
probably be interested in doing, is just
So-
until however long that would take.
Yeah, so after dinner, you guys rest up a couple of more hours, you sharpen your weapons, you check your gear, and then you're feeling pretty refreshed. There's no real day or night here within Sarkelman, so whenever you choose to go, you can. And I will say, because the chamber is very dim, so for you guys, that increases the difficulty of any actions. Melee goes to difficulty 2, range goes to difficulty 3, unless you want to illuminate the cavern, which is fine because, like I said, they have perfect night vision anyway, so they would see you even if it was just dim light. So they're not negatively impacted by the darkness, but you will be.
Okay.
It appears that you all will soon learn how truly strong you are. Remember, what good is strong steel without a strong arm? A blade that cannot be lifted cuts no one. What good is a strong arm without a strong will? A warrior with no courage wins no battles. Without your strength of mind, all other strength is meaningless.
He's very good. If we get through this, King Koranis is going to love you.
I'm sorry, Sobek. What do you mean by that? Do I just... My sword, my arm. Yes, they're strong.
I think you have proven my point.
Gotcha.
Drew says.
Then I am ready.
So he's like, I'll lead you through the we're fairly close. I've been able to mask this location using my own small tricks and gifts, but the march to the chamber will only take us about 30 minutes. And he starts to walk off in this winding trail. You're moving up through some galleries and then across water-filled ways. It's still fairly dark, but he's got a couple of fairly light violet lights that are kind of juggling across the tops of his hands that are illuminating the areas fairly well for you. And then after about 25 minutes, he stops at the base of a ramp. And he's like, this is the ramp. When we get to the top of it, it'll level off for a few feet before we enter into the cavern. But when we get to the top, we will be facing the Master of Sarkelmond and his dwellers, unless by chance, for some freak reason, he's let his guard down now after all of this time. But I would not bet on that. So
Perhaps
tell me how you
fortune
wish
will
to
shine
proceed.
on us.
We'll split at the entrance. I go one way, Zamir and you the other.
Excellent.
The other people in the party as well, Drusus, I suggest they go with
right.
you.
And
I
we're
know you
like
are
nodding,
capable
like
and confident,
yes.
but
Yes, I meant to have them follow me. Of course.
mhm.
I imagine he like drops his sword and he picks it back up.
Okay, so you slowly make your way up this ramp of it's hardened, packed stone. You can tell it's almost like cement from all of the ooze that has come down the ramp and solidified. Almost, I mean, imagine, aliens. You're walking through this encrusted horror fest, and that's kind of the vibe you should be going with here. As you slowly make your way up, are you using any light sources?
Yeah,
Do
we're
we
able
still
to use
have
that.
the lights that we had when on the way down?
The globes? Yeah, you
Yes.
saw the globes. Mhm.
We were told that they wouldn't have any negative effect, so I believe we would.
Okay, so the glowing of the light is illuminating the opening of the cavern. As you're getting closer and closer, the smell is what hits you first. The smell of rancid fish, of death, of blood. of decay and putrefaction. It in of itself is almost enough to make you gag. And you're all hardened warriors, but it's just a dense miasma of stench. And as you get closer and closer, you start to hear croaking noises, these deep, grumbling, croaking noises that you identified as the sounds that the dwellers in the deep made when they came on the ship. So you're fairly certain that they're aware that something is approaching. And as your eyes crest the lip, you see it for the first time. Everything else within the room is almost blotted out, and you see this tower of corpulent flesh and scales. It doesn't fit together right. There are more arms than there should be, and almost like clawed legs from a crab sticking out of its stomach. As it stretches, folds of scales and fat come up, and you see bulging eyes across its body. And its head is like the head of a giant frog, opening and closing with great fangs in its mouth and mucus dripping down the side. And out of its mouth, instead of a single tongue, a dozen tentacles roil out and begin to thrash at the air, smelling at you, stretching for you. As that fear begins to hit you, you notice two great deep ones standing in front of it, and amongst them each another 4 of the lesser creatures in their squads. You do see the bone pillars and small hillocks of refuse and garbage that you could hide behind, but first that wall of terror begins to reach into you. Your bowels turn to water. Your heart wants to stop in your chest. You feel your ribs cracking with the strain of your lungs filling with air and unable to release it. I need everybody to make a difficulty 4 discipline check. At this point, or after you make the roll, you can spend momentum or resolve if you want to add some courage soak. But we'll get to that depending on how you do. So difficulty 4 discipline check.
Anyone with high discipline want to go first?
I'll go. I won't get 4, but I got 2.
Okay. And remember, you guys can give me doom or spend momentum to get additional dice, because rolling 2 dice is going to be painful.
I didn't want to take momentum from them when I have courage soak.
That is fair. I respect that.
Anybody else?
I've got 10. I'll give it a shot. I will spend a fortune and a momentum.
Nice.
Oh, 3 successes.
How close.
Sorry. I left it at 1. I forgot to change it.
It's okay.
I'll
Who's
do
next?
A full
Yeah,
house,
Drusus.
use of fortune, momentum, and give you doom.
All right.
I got 5 successes.
Nice. You get 1 point of momentum back, and Drusus ignores the fear.
All right. I will go. I'm going to use a fortune and 2 momentum, since you just got 1.
Mhm.
And
Going to get us a complication.
that is
You did
7
not.
successes.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
You promised a complication.
You've got 3 momentum back, and Zamir is good.
Gracious. You should have gone first.
Okay.
You've got 3 momentum.
Yeah, I'll spend 1 fortune and 2 momentum.
Nice.
Oh, okay. My target number is 7, guys. I was not feeling it.
All right. So
mine was 8, so I wasn't feeling it either.
Wow.
So, Sir Drusus Jolden, Zamir, and Aurelia, as you see this and you feel your bodies just quaking with terror, you reach into the core of who you are. Sir Drusus, it's your nobility, the noble warrior. That image of who you are meant to be manages to force off the fear. Aurelia, you feel that connection right as your spirit is starting to tear away from you in terror. You feel the flapping of wings and the sound of a crow in the back of your mind. And you feel strengthened by the knowledge of the Morrigan and her support of you. And that allows you to shake it off. And similarly, Zamir, you just hear whispers in the back of your mind. Come home, my dear one. This will be all right. And you were able to shake it off.
He grins. He probably smiles for the first time in a while, as he's had a bad run of it lately. But he probably smiles like, yes, dear. I shall be home soon.
And with that, let's see. We'll roll Sobek's damage first. And so, Sobek, you got how many successes?
2.
2, so 2 bonus dice for that. You take 10 mental damage, piercing 2, so it gets past 8 courage.
8 courage. Okay, I only had 5, so I'm taking all 10.
Okay, so you take 10. It is intense, so you take 3 trauma, and you're stunned, which means when you're stunned, you have to spend Doom to take a standard action and Fortune to take a reaction. It's only for 1 round, though. So you're at 3 traumas, so that increases all your mental skills to difficulty 4 minimum. And Roya, how many successes did you get?
3.
3, okay, so it's just 1 extra. Eight. It gets past 8 points of courage.
I don't have any points of courage.
Okay, so you take 8 points of damage, so that's 1 trauma, but it's intense, so you take 2 traumas and 8 points of mental damage. So that's 8 points off your resolve. What's your resolve out after 8 points taken away?
-2.
Okay, so you take 3 traumas in total, and you are also stunned. So for 1 round to take a standard action, you have to give me a point of doom, and to take a reaction, you have to use a fortune point. So you stand there, Sobek and Roya, you stand there in that moment of terror, completely absorbed by it. You feel your minds start to fracture. You feel the insanity of Cthulhu reaching into you. It's almost as if you feel these tentacles forcing their way down your throat and into your ears and up in past your ocular cavity, grabbing a hold of your mind and squeezing against it, trying to pull out all that you are. And in that moment, you freeze. But sure, Drusus Jolden, Aurelia, and Zamir, you may go. So this thing is effectively distracted. Zamir, you have not been noticed yet because you're just a really stealthy guy, so you can make your stealth roll if you want to try to move around.
Right. So Zamir will kind of grab the wrist of Ricard. He will hold a finger to his lips, and he'll kind of motion to follow, and he will look at Drusus, because I'm presuming Drusus is going to be doing something else here, and he will just kind of give him a little bit of a bow, because he's pretty sure that all of you are going to die. So, what's the difficulty?
It would be a difficulty 5, but with the distraction, it drops it to a difficulty 2.
Okay. Difficulty 2. What do we got? 1 momentum. All right. Why not? Just to be safe, I'm going to roll fortune. I'm going to use a fortune just to be safe and maybe get you guys some momentum, but more than likely, 2 natural 20s on this roll.
Please don't say that. I really don't want you guys to all die here.
All right, 5 successes.
Oh my God. So
there you go.
You're back up to 5 momentum. And you blend into the shadows, and Ricard just tucks up right behind you, and it's almost like you're one body. This guy is very quiet, and he moves very well, and you're actually impressed. You're like, he's probably next to you and perhaps Bijan, the stealthiest person you've ever met.
There is a sense of relief probably in Zamir's mind as he's like he's not saying this out loud, but in his mind he's thinking all these months, all these years with these people, with Roya, with oh my goodness, this
Yep.
we'll be fine. Like that's what he's thinking right now. For the first time, he's probably thinking, oh yeah, we're going to be fine. We'll be all right in his head.
Okay, so I'm not going to seize the initiative. Sir Drusus and Aurelia, you guys are up. Roya and Sobek, you can take actions, but to do so, you have to give me a point of doom first. What would you like to do? These deep ones and their minions are between you and the master of Sarkomon. So you would have to get past them to get at him. If you want to try to directly engage him, basically like charging through these guys, I will give them an opportunity to hit you as you pass through, because basically it's like a withdrawal action as you move through them. But I'm willing to let you try if you want.
I nod at Zamir and I run the other direction.
Okay.
And I will try to get their attention on me. Get them to chase.
Their attention is right on you.
Right. Get them to chase me like through these bone piles.
Okay, so you're at close quarters with them. So yes, you can definitely give me a athletics test, and we will do this resisted athletics test difficulty, just difficulty 1, and whoever gets the better roll is probably going to be you.
I'll do 1 momentum.
Okay.
Only 1 success.
Check something out. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Okay, so as you're running, the one pack of them, they come at you and they circle around you. So basically, they come at you from 2 different directions around this bone pile. And as you're running, you feel a couple coming up behind you. And as you turn the corner, the large dweller in deep, the leader of this squad, is right there in front of you. So, and that is your action. Aurelia, you see Drusus run off into the bone piles, and you see one entire group of these creatures, 5 of them, chase him. There are 5 more in front of you, and they look like they're preparing to charge in your general direction. You also see Roya and Sobek standing next to you, slack-jawed with drool coming down their face, pee on their pants, and terror in their eyes.
Aurelia's first movement was to go and kind of like parallel run with Drusus off to the side, and as you get some distance and attack. But when she notices that Sobek and Roya are just stuck here, she will kind of move a little bit just to get a better aim, and she's going to attack the large one if she can. If not, hit whoever to just try and do some damage.
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely. The Master of Sarkomon is big enough that with an arrow you can shoot right over his minions and strike directly at him. And because he is so large and corpulent, he actually cannot take a reaction to move out of the way. His bulk does not allow him to move that fast.
Okay, yeah. And
You can do it, Aurelia.
He also has the ability called Feed Upon Fear for those people watching, which is why I just increased my doom to 21, because each time he causes a threatened action for the first time against someone, he gets a point of doom in his doom pool. And he did terrify... Oh, sorry, he only terrified 2 people, sorry. Oh, nice.
Okay.
So you got 3 points of momentum.
So that hits.
4 successes. Nice job.
I'm going to use my 3 points of momentum. 10 physical damage. I have a talent that lets me reroll
Mm-hmm.
my selected. So still just 10. Okay.
But it's piercing 1, and you got 3 effects. He has 3 points of armor, so you bypass his armor, and you do all 10 points of damage. So this arrow, describe what it looks like when you sink this thing into it.
So she is kind of panicked because she's looking more at Roya in Sobek than at this actual creature. And so she just kind of sinks down into a crouch and she shoots up at it, and it somehow catches it kind of somewhere in some tentacles near the neck area and just lodges in there.
And it bellows out. I mean, it is not used to being physically assaulted. So its eyes drop right on you, and these other eyes in its chest force the flab open and look at you. And there's at least a dozen eyes looking at you. And I will spend a point of doom to seize the initiative as you feel something reach into your heart and try to squeeze it. You hear arcane syllables, guttural voices coming from it as it strikes out. And I will spend 2 points of doom for a couple extra dice because he's pretty pissed. Three successes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a second. That didn't roll right because he has 3 wounds. He doesn't have 3 traumas. So, but he only got 3 successes, and so you feel it start to take hold, but it fizzles because it's actually a difficulty 5 spell he was trying to cast at you.
Oh shit! Okay.
So he looks, his eyes blank, and he looks frustrated and perhaps a little concerned at this point. Taking us to Roya or Sobek.
So Raya is going, if this is something that I can do, and I'll pay a doom if I need to. Raya is going to go into her bag. She's got some of those calming herbs and perfumes in her bag. So she is going to see if she can reduce some of those traumas to Sobek. Because I'm hoping that will help him try to do some other things.
I don't know if you can heal during combat traumas.
It doesn't actually say you can't. I've actually just been reading it as well. To treat harm, treating character must choose what kind of harm is being treated and attempt a skill test. It might be that you can't do it during combat, but it doesn't actually say that.
No, I like it. Yep, go for it. Doesn't say you can't, so I say go for it. So you give me a point of doom. Now remember, so healing is a mental skill, so your difficulty is equal to 1 plus the number of traumas you've taken. So difficulty 4.
Oh. Okay. And Comforting Lies falls under counsel. So
yeah, you have to roll counsel to heal the resolve wounds, the trauma.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So
Difficulty 4.
Nikes. All right. Difficulty 4. I will spend a fortune. We've got momentum.
3. Yep.
I'll do momentum. And I have to spend a doom, but I don't put it on the sheet because I have to spend doom just to do the thing.
Yeah, you have to spend doom. Yeah, so I put the doom
you'll
on
take
right
care
now.
of that because it's not a dice purchase doom thing. Okay. So I've got a fortune and I've got momentum, and I'll do another momentum. Letting it rip. 7 successes.
7 successes. Oh my god. Okay, so you needed 4, so you've got 3, so you can heal.
A difficulty. Because of wounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
now, 1 second. Let me look at Comforting Lies again. When you successfully treat one or more traumas another character has suffered, that character may add 3 points to Doom. So this is your choice, Stephen. The traumas are now healed instead of simply being treated. So if you want to hand over 3 Doom, those would be straight up gone.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hand over the Doom.
Okay.
Thank you, Melissa. And I had 3 trauma, so I think you have 1 point of momentum left.
She needed, it was difficulty 4. She got 7 successes, so she took all 3 to heal your 3 trauma.
But if she got 4, wouldn't she have still healed 1 trauma?
I have 3 traumas, so however that.
Oh, but it's already difficulty 1, so they add to it, so difficulty 4. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, she'd have 1 momentum left. I put it in for you. And I will spend a point of Doom to seize the initiative for the second squad as they charge in at, let's see, Arroya or Sobek will roll a d6, 1 to 2 charging at Aurelia, 3 to 4 at Roya, 5 to 6 Sobek. Coming at Roya, they see you whispering soothing words at Sobek, and they charge at you. The Dwellers in Deep and his squad, claws raking at you as you attempt to bring your sorcerer back. Spend 1 Doom, so I got a lot of it. Ooh,
Aaron, did you just roll 2 complications?
I rolled 2 complications, but I got 2 successes. So, 2 complications. So what happens is these guys run in, and they're like a frenzy of piranha. They start shredding and shredding and shredding, and although they hit you and do their damage, at the end of the day, when the blood settles from the air, they've managed to kill 2 of their own members in their frenzy to kill you.
Wow. That's big.
What is your armor?
Sorry, is that me?
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Left leg is 2.
2? Okay, so it all gets through. So you are grappled, and you take 8 points of damage. So you take a wound and lose 8 vigor. How much vigor do you have left?
3.
3. Okay. It is also persistent 3. So for 3 rounds, you will take additional damage. Now, this is the thing. You could give me a point of Doom to get rid of that persistence so you don't have to worry about it if you want.
So I'll still have the original wound.
You still have the original damage, but
to get rid of
the continuing damage. Okay.
Yes, please.
I thought you might like that. And 2 of these, 2 of the members of its squad are dead.
That seemed like a successful hurt more reviewers than mine. So she's doing a little Conan style nanny nanny boo boo dance. It's about appropriate for that situation.
I love it. So Sobek, you're up if you want to spend a point of Doom to take an action. Doom. Okay.
And now that I've gotten rid of that trauma, which is huge for me, thank you, Melissa, I will cast Dismember on I'd like to go for the big guy, the same one Aurelia hit with her bow, because it's a ranged attack. And I'm going to spend 2 fortune on it.
Okay, it's good.
I can only spend 1.
Yeah, the minimum difficulty to hit him with magic is 5.
All right, so I'll do difficulty 5. Spend 1 fortune. I'll spend
4 momentum.
I can only spend up to 2 momentum there. So that'll be 5 dice. Let's go for it.
I like it. 7 successes.
All right, that is a success with 2 momentum. And I will use that 2 momentum to add We're gonna add 2 more effect dice there.
I like it.
Why did I not get? Did I click out of a menu by accident? Oh, it's the damage. Okay, I'm good. I've never actually used an attack before, so I'm still learning this on the character sheet. 2 bonus dice there. All right.
Nice. So you see scales start to shred away from him on his magic, but from your magic. But as you see it tearing away, a couple of the eyes in his body rupture. You also see the older injuries from Aurelia start to heal up at a very quick pace. As we go into the top of round 2, and I'm going to seize the initiative because he sees another caster. And Sobek, you feel the full attention of the Master of Sarkomon fall upon you. And you hear another croaking of these arcane phrases. You don't recognize the language, and you don't recognize the spell, but you do feel the magic trying to take hold of you. And I'm going to spend some doom on this. Hold on. Character sheets don't quite work right for that. So, okay, there we go. And he fails horribly. How does that possible?
Come at me, bro.
No, sorry. That didn't roll right. That rolled a physical attack. That didn't roll his actual magic. I don't know why that didn't roll right, but I will fix it. That rolled coordination and combat, which is obviously not.
But there's a complication on the table that's just, or
Oh, I'll keep the complication. Don't get me wrong. I won't do that to you, but it's not coordination and combat. Okay. There we go.
the come at me bro still stands. So.
I like that. So you still got the complication. But you got 5 successes. So what you feel, Sobek, as the spell goes off, and the complication is I got 2 complications on 2 separate rolls. I'm going to give it to you both. I'm going to give you guys 4 points of momentum as the battle sort of shifts a little bit because the spell took more out of him than he thought it was going to. But the effect you're feeling is you can't breathe. Your lungs are filled with seawater. So what I need you to do is make a difficulty 5 resistance check.
Resistance, that is under Ron.
Mm-hmm.
I will spend a fortune again.
Sobek, notoriously brawny.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
He's
very much. Can I not spend? Oh, I forgot to refill my fortune. That's why it won't let me. So I should have been at 2. I'm spending 1.
You don't spend momentum?
That's a failure.
Okay,
3 successes, so I missed by 2.
So you have you take 5 points of fatigue against your vigor.
All right.
And where are we sitting at with vigor right now?
I believe that puts me down to 3.
Okay, cool. So every round, you have to resist this until you successfully resist it. And the difficulty would go up, but you're already at the top difficulty, so it stays at 5. I do want to double check something really quick, though. On that. So you guys notice seawater bubbling up out of Zamir's mouth as he's drowning from the inside out. Just want to see if there's any way somebody can help.
Zamir, no.
Okay, first of all, I don't think it was me. But second of all, even if it was me, there's no way any of you would see it right now.
No, we wouldn't. There'd just
The
be water
narrator told
coming,
us.
and we have no idea why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, Jeff.
Yeah.
You just have that, and I feel like I feel a disturbance in Zamir's force.
Grandma Whisper would whisper to someone.
So what I'm going to say with this is there's no real mechanic for it other than you dealing with it yourself. But I think Roya, as a shaman, would be able to attempt to heal this to a certain extent. So what I'll say is, if you want to take your standard action, you could try to help him purge the water with a heal check. And the number of successes you get will reduce the difficulty he needs to make for the drowning test on his round.
Okay, so Roya continues to stay right next to Sobek and
Mhm.
continues to try to keep him alive for as long as she is alive.
Okay, well, it's back to you guys. So yeah.
All right. Can reroll 1, and I can add 2d20. So reroll 1, add 2d20, and I know we've got some momentum. So
Now you're full up on momentum.
So I just get an extra d20, and I'm going to get to roll 1, and I will spend a momentum, and I'm rolling 5. And I get 8 successes.
Okay, so your difficulty's down to 1. So you're down to a 1 resistance check against the drowning. But it will take you it takes you your turn to resist this. Basically, you're coughing up seawater for a round.
Would there be a benefit to me trying to reroll one of these? No.
No,
I
I
answered
know.
my own question. I rolled about as good as I can.
That was pretty good.
Okay, good.
Can I go ahead and make that resistance now then?
You certainly can. You've got 6
Roya
momentum again.
is saving me, so I'm going to spend her momentum. Spend 2 of it.
All right. So you
And-
succeed in retching out the seawater.
Thank you, Roya. Looks like
and
I'm going to have to replace Zamir.
as your favorite servant.
Most loyal
So-
servant.
Let's take us back around to Drusus, who I forgot to attack last round, so I'm going to attack you right now. With the Dweller in Deep who surrounded you. But I skipped his turn last time, so I'm just going to seize the initiative and attack you this turn, and you just lucked out and didn't get attacked last turn. That's what I get for going too fast with all the horrible drownings and whatnot. And I will... I'm going to go ahead... No, I won't spend any doom on this. They're just going to straight up attack, yeah. All right, 5 successes for momentum. I'm going to go ahead and spend the momentum on damage.
I like to parry with my shield.
I think that's a good idea. Go ahead and roll your parry. So all you've got to do is get better than 5 successes. Which, I mean, I know you can do that. I'm not saying that sarcastically.
I'll spend 3 momentum. I only got 3.
Okay, so they got a net of 2 on you, so I'll spend that extra 2 on damage. Okay, what is your armor?
3.
3. Okay, so they got 4 piercing, so it all gets through your armor. So you take 6 points of damage. That's 1 wound.
Got the talents. It's I've got a talent just a scratch, so you need 7 damage in 1 hit to apply.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then you just take the 6 points of damage. It is persistent though, so if you want to spend Doom to get rid of the persistent effect, you can.
Yeah, I'll give you the Doom to get rid of that.
Okay. And you, like Aurelia, are currently grappled. You were the one who got attacked. No, it was Roya who got attacked. You got lucky.
Yeah, my heart just was trying to be squeezed out of its chest.
That's right. Roya got lucky. She was grappled, but I'm going to say she managed to get away and help Sobek anyway. But Sir Drusus, you are grappled. It is back to you guys. Sir Drusus and Zamir and Aurelia.
Do my athletics roll to break out of the grappling.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend 1 momentum.
All right.
Only 1 success. What was the difficulty?
The difficulty was 3. 3 success? No, that was yours. 5. So you're grappled.
Holy.
Still.
Okay.
So you guys you hear on the backside of this bone pile, Drusus rolling around in basically a mob of 5 of these creatures as they're tearing at him. He's got his shield between his torso and his head and these things, but they're pinning him back with their massive weight. Zamir, Aurelia?
If you want to go, it's been a while since you went.
I don't think there's much for me to do. I'm stealthing this guy inside, so this is a good fight.
He drops into... You get him around to the back in that first round. He drops into the well, and you see him start to mutter and trace some symbols with the base of the key. You are now behind the combat, and nobody has recognized you, so you can take your movement and standard action to engage if you want to.
So, like how far away? Like how far away am I from the action, basically?
So you're on the backside of the well now. So there's 10 feet. The well is 10 feet across, and directly on the other side of that, so about 12 feet away from you, is the back of the Master of Sarkomon, this giant pillar of flesh. You honestly really can't see around him. You can hear the others on the other side fighting, but you can't really see what's going on because you're basically in front of a wall of flesh.
Okay, and the things that we've seen. Do they? I at one point you mentioned the flapping of wings, but I think that was just Aurelia's like goddess, right?
Yeah,
like these don't
that was
actually
just her
have
goddess.
wings, right?
No, they don't fly. Nope.
Okay. Okay. And how far away how far is the distance between like where I am and where that wall of flesh is?
12 feet. He's
12 feet?
12 feet directly in front of you is the back of the Master of Sarkomon.
Okay.
You're on the other side of the pit from him. So basically there's a 10-foot pit between you and him, and then there's a couple of feet on the other side of the pit.
Okay. I think
His attention is solidly focused in our direction, which is
yes.
really
This is the thing. Like in terms of the strategy. Like I think the strategy is to not draw attention to what's going on here. And so I do feel like if Zamir was to engage here, like I don't think that makes sense. I think that works against what the plan is. So
right.
Yeah. We're taking everything on this side. So
I totally get that.
So I think he'll just be on alert, and not just for like dangers around, but for this guy, because I don't trust him. And so if I get the sense that he's doing anything shifty, if it looks like he's, so I'm just basically, staying perceptive, staying aware, and just, keeping my eyes peeled for any sort of dangers.
I like it. So, Aurelia, you're up.
Yeah, so what Aurelia is going to do is she's going to aim at the people who are on top of Drusus.
Okay. It'll be a difficulty 2 because they're kind of behind a bone pile, so they've got a little bit of cover.
So if she has to move also, she'll do so.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So you move around so you can get a clear line of sight on them, and you see this large group of dwellers piled on Drusus.
Yeah. Spend. Okay,
Oh,
5
nice.
successes, 4 momentum.
Mhm.
And now let's do some damage.
Nice roll.
I'm gonna buy some bonus damage, Mel.
Sure. Oh, from the audience dice? Yep.
Yeah,
Got
and then
it.
with 2 of my momentum. And then I will use the talent again.
Mm-hmm.
And so 13.
Okay, so the arrow flies through, strikes one of these lesser ones, tears through its throat. I mean, basically tears its entire throat out, continues to pass in and lodges in the back of another one of them. And you completely kill one of them and seriously damage a second one, giving Sir Drusus a little bit of breathing room.
Awesome.
And then the other group, the group of dwellers that killed 2 of their own to try to tear Roya to pieces, since it's the end of the round, will attack Roya once again. Because they're right here.
Roya is leaning heavily on her staff.
And I will spend 1 point of doom.
Oh, I saw complication.
Complication. All right.
Some
3 successes, though. 3 successes, 2 points of momentum. Did you want to... Okay. So what we'll do then... With the complication, the same thing happens. These guys are so frantic to kill you that they actually end up killing one of their own to get to you after the damage is taken. So
I've done so much damage just by being a target.
Just by being a target, you've massacred these guys. They're going to literally kill themselves in an attempt to kill you.
Stories will be told, maybe, if we survive.
So 6 points of physical damage.
So I have 3 current vigor.
Okay, so you go down to 0. And so you take a wound from going to 0, and you take a wound from taking more than 5 points of damage. So you take 2 wounds. How many wounds do you currently have?
3.
Okay, so you got 3 wounds. You're still up, but I mean, you're at the ragged edge of your physical endurance. 1 more wound, and you won't really be able to do anything. 2 more wounds, well, and you die. I'm assuming you're going to want to give me 1 point of doom to avoid the persistent damage.
Yes, of course.
And you are currently grappled.
Roya was heavily leaning on her staff that is now tugged in with her in this grapple.
So Aurelia and Sobek, what you see Aurelia, you see Drusus still pinned under this wave of these dwellers. Sobek, you see Roya get mauled so bad that you can't see how she's possibly on her feet. There is more blood on her body, spurting out of these horrible gashes than you thought a human being could hold in their body. Top of round 3, the pit starts to glow.
Fuck.
Success, sort of. It's a good thing.
No.
Wait,
It's
the
not-
pit or the well? The well that
The
he's...
well. Sorry, the
Okay.
well. The well
All right.
begins to glow.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Because I was thinking it was a good thing, but then I saw Ashley's reaction. I'm like, oh wait, he said pit. That actually makes sense. I can see why Ashley's upset. So okay.
No, we're still so fucking far away. Drusus is grappled. Roya is grappled. The well can
Roya's-
only be held for so long.
Roya's probably gonna die. It's fine. It's 3 to
Fuck.
1. 3 of them to 1 of Roya. It's all good.
Aurelia is going to attack again the ones on Drusus
Okay.
to try and get him released.
And remember, you've got a standard action and a move action. So, like, you can shoot, and then you could run if you wanted to the well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now, you have to run past the Master of Sarkomon, so he may take a swing at you, but he only gets to take a swing at one of you. So
that's why it would be better if there was more of us running. Okay. I'm going to attack. I have momentum. I'm going to roll it. Success.
Okay, 4 successes,
Yay.
3 momentum.
Damage.
Take some audience stuff.
Yeah, I'll take 2 audience.
All right. Thank you, audience.
And remember, I'm gonna remind you this. If you still have fortune at this point, you can spend a fortune to introduce a truth. Like you could spend a fortune point to say, the force of my blow breaks Drusus free from the hold.
How much fortune do I still have?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing that. Okay.
Yeah. I like it.
I spend a fortune to release Drusus, but I'm still spending this to see how much damage I do.
Looks good. 13.
Did 13 damage.
Piercing
And
2.
I'm gonna re-roll this single one because it seems silly not to. 14.
14.
Nice.
Okay, you kill 2 of the others. So there's one heavily injured guy and the big guy on Drusus at the moment. But the blow of your arrow, the 2 you kill basically slam into their leader and knock him off of Drusus. And Drusus, you're able to push the other one away with your shield. And at the moment, they're all prone, and you're in the clear. Aurelia, if you want to hold your move action, I'll let you guys handle all your actions, and then depending on what's going on, who wants to try to move into the pit, we can sort of do that as a unit if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Roya's grappled. Drusus, you are now free. And Sobek, you are free. Zamir, you're standing back. You see the well start to glow and open. Anybody want to take an action? I'm not going to seize the initiative here. I'm not that cruel. I'm just going to let you guys do the voodoo that you can do.
So what would I do to try to ungrapple myself?
It is an athletics check against the difficulty equal to this number of successes on their attack. They got 3 successes.
6.
I wonder if Sobek is going to try to save you, considering all the help that you gave him this fight.
I was going to, but then she said she wanted to do something.
So it'd be difficult. It'd be a difficulty 3 athletics check.
And then I can move on my turn. So if there's something you'd like to do, feel free to go right ahead.
It involves spending a fortune point for a story. So it depends on if this is allowed, Aaron. I am almost out of resolve. And I can recover resolve by making a discipline check. So I would like to try and make a discipline check and make it seem as if I'm preparing to cast a really big spell, making a big display of it right next to Roya to like basically take their attention off of her. Would I be able to do that with a fortune point?
Yeah. Why not? If you're going to spend the fortune point for it, so you're out of fortune now. You make this big display. It will distract them. Roya, how many wounds do you have? So I'll take it down to a difficulty 1 grapple check, but plus the number of wounds you have. So
I have 3 wounds.
So it's difficulty 4 athletics check. So you're
I'm recovering 2 resolve.
Okay. There's 1 momentum. You can spend Doom if you've got fortune. I highly recommend using it at this point for your athletics check.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Why can I never find? Okay, sorry. Can you say what you said again?
So it's a difficulty 4. I took it down to difficulty 1 because they got distracted by Sobek, but then you have to add in your wounds on top of that.
So then it's back to 4. Okay. Question in chat. Is there anything that I could make of a story fact with a fortune point?
Sure. What would you like to do? I mean, you could chain off of Sobek's fortune and say that in their distraction, you spend a fortune point and you slip out of their grasp. If you want to spend a fortune point on it, I will give you just a free get out of grapple check. But that's your standard action. So all you'd have left is your move action.
That works. I would say that maybe when she got out the calming herbs and perfumes earlier, she like spilled some on herself as she was like trying to get it back in the bag. And so they're trying to grapple her and she's a little bit slippery.
I like it. I like it.
Like slides out.
Flies right through. Not to mention you're covered in your own blood. So, I mean, that's a little slippery too. So
yeah, that definitely helps.
Blood and perfume.
Move action toward the now glowing well.
So Drusus Jolden, you are free. What do? You see the others. You see Aurelia and Roya start to move towards the now glowing well. You see the Master of Sarkomand begin to take some sort of mystical actions. What do you do?
I'll stand up and shove these small fish out of the way with my shield, and I'll start running to the direction of the well.
Okay, so Drusus, Roya, and Aurelia are running to the well. Sobek, you recovered your resolve. What are you doing?
I'd like to go to the well as well.
Okay, so the four of you are running towards the well. Zamir, you're seeing them kind of converge from around the sides of it, and you see the Master of Sarkomand with one of these giant meaty claws swing down to strike at one of your friends as they move by. 1, Aurelia, 2, Roya, 3, Drusus, and 4, Sobek. It's Roya. Coming at Roya.
This is as it should be.
Can I do a react protect attempt to block it? Take the attack?
Absolutely. You absolutely can. So Roya, you feel Drusus push you from behind as he moves in front of this claw as it's descending on him. So you're going to do a parry against my attack?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to spend a couple of dooms since you guys are actually going to escape this guy and just makes him so angry. He only got 4 successes.
Let's see what I have here. I'll do fortune, momentum.
Nice.
I got 5.
So describe what it looks like. Is this claw, this enormous claw, a claw bigger than your body, comes sweeping down at you. How is it that you managed to block this?
Yeah, as we're all converging towards the well. Roya, a bit distracted from her injuries, I just push her out of the way and pull up my shield in between.
So you feel these claws rake across the shield, and you're able to leverage it. You put your other hand behind it, and you twist and put your entire body weight into it, and you throw it off a little bit, and then you've got a clear path to the well. And Zamir, you see as Sir Drusus does this incredible feat of strength and actually rocks back this mammoth spawn of Cthulhu. You see your 4 companions, some beaten and bruised, others terrified, soiled, bloody, dive into the well. What do you do?
So I like to think once they got close, Zamir was like pulling daggers and like giving covering fire. I mean, he can't do anything with that giant tentacle, but some of the other ones that might be chasing, just throwing daggers to slow things down. Has Ricard already jumped through the well?
He is at the bottom of the well holding the gate open with the key. He's got to be the last one through. He's like, come on, I can only hold it for a moment more.
Okay, so Zamir will just sort of salute the giant Master of Sarkomand and just do one of those like goodbye and just fall backwards like this, like in this little backwards swan dive into the well.
And as the 5 of you fall into the well past this silver glow, you see Ricard, and it's almost, you all get a sense of vertigo as you flip, as you feel like you're flipping, and instead of falling down into a well, you're jumping up out of the bottom of a well. And he pulls the key up out of the floor and he's like, shh, we must be very quiet now. We're in the monastery of Ling. Give me a moment to settle the key down and put it away. Then we will have to try to plot our way out of here. Some of you look more worse for wear, but we only have a few moments here, so take what time you can to prepare. Because as horrible as the Master of Sarkomand is, the Yellow-Veiled King and his scrutiny is so much worse. And that is where we're going to end it tonight, a little bit early. I hope everybody had a good time. Join us next week for what I believe will be the finale of our Hyborian tales, at least for a while. So I hope everybody had a good time. Congratulations on escaping Sarkomand and not anybody dying.
God.
We did it.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Roya, you were so close.
I
don't
did the
know
most
what the big
offensive
deal
anybody
was.
here. I got 3 of them
Yeah.
killed.
You
I
killed
don't know
3
what
of
the
them.
big deal was. That felt really easy
Yeah.
from my perspective.
You kept Sobek on his feet. Roya was a rock star.
Yeah, I had a babysitter the whole time.
I did what
Isn't
I'm here
that true
to
of the
do.
whole campaign?
Healed traumas.
Like we've all
Except-
taken turns, I think, of like babysitting Sobek.
Except when we ditched him for like a session or 2.
Or 4.
Yeah.
When he was
Zamora. the good old days in Zamora. But now our adventurers are in the Dreamlands, in the monastery of Ling, on the plateau of Ling, across the Twilight Sea from the city of King Karanis.
Yeah.
Where they're hoping to get to. Who knows? Maybe they'll get to carouse in the Dreamlands.
If they do, they might meet a group of Orient Express travelers that last we saw boarded a dream train in the town of Ulthar, City of Cats.
There you go. Could be.
So,
Could be.
yeah.
Totally
It all
can happen.
comes together.
It
Could
totally
totally
can
happen.
And
They're
then
from
we-
London too.
Well, some of them are. Yeah.
We did
So,
travel through there.
You are in the Dreamlands. Dreamers at last. But that's all I've got for tonight for Conan. So Jeff, it's back to you, sir.
All right. So next up, we got One Ring tomorrow. Also getting very close. Tomorrow's not gonna be the end, but I do think we've probably got maybe 3-4 sessions or so left of One Ring, as we are in Angmar and things are getting pretty dangerous every single time they step out of their little hidey hole. So come hang out tomorrow. Monday, starting another new game. We have a lot of turnover that's been going on this past month, and we have another one starting up on Monday. It's called Fragged Empire. You can see Melissa and I in that one. It's a space game. It's a little indie game out of Australia. We're very excited about giving it a try. And then Steven, what's going on Tuesday, man?
We're starting another new campaign. We are playing the Marvel Multiverse RPG. Several of these beautiful faces will be there. Aaron will be there. Jeff will be there. Melissa will be there. And we're throwing in Kipser as well. We're going for an X-Men theme. Should be pretty fun. Come join us.
Awesome. Then Thursday, we just started this last night. Our new werewolf, Your Future Lies in Dust. Our new werewolf apocalypse game. We started last night. We did our session 0. We'll have our first session proper real play. See how the werewolves function, all that kind of stuff. So that's Thursday next week. And then next Friday, as per usual, we alternate and we're doing Delta Green. And if you have not yet followed this channel here, twitch.tv/Lollygaggers, please do. That'd be wonderful. And if you haven't sought us out over on YouTube for Adventures in Lollygagging and subscribed over there, we'd really do appreciate that. And if you don't want to see our faces, and I totally understand that, we also have audio only podcast. If you search for Adventures in Lollygagging wherever you get your podcast, you'll find a bunch of stuff there as well. With that, I think we're going to rate our buddies over at Defenders of Cobalt as they are up. They're playing Joe's game Anvia, who's also going to be in that Fragged Empire campaign. So let's go give them a little bit of support. Have a great rest of your night. Aaron, thank you so much for running more of this. Really
My
do
pleasure.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.